And today, hello Ruby.
Hello.
Um, you realise how loud that sounded because you're close to the phone. Okay.
Fantastic. I'm going to think about that the whole video.
Yeah, okay. So, what I wanted to do was to go over some basics, some very basics on making perfume because, again, I'm always prompted into this when I see some complete rubbish on the internet. And my goodness, I saw some today. So, especially from people who look like they're in actual legitimate laboratories, and they really ought to not be allowed out yet. Calm. So, I am here with a lot of materials in the background, a scale, a book, and actually a pair of scissors and some nitrile gloves. We're doing everything properly except the things that I forgot. So, because what I actually want to start with is pieces of paper. I want to cut up, and they're not far away, but I regularly leave my own videos and come back again. But it's here, it's in the room, it just wasn't on the screen. Yeah, so a nice bargain block of Clairefontaine watercolour paper. Why? Well, I paint a lot of structures on these.
You do.
For fun, but also, this is the thing. You don't have to spend a fortune on smelling strips. And it's very handy to test everything on paper before you commit to serious amounts in bottles and what have you. So, pair of scissors, a piece of paper. So it is watercolour paper because it's absorbent. So first of all, I'm trying to cut up these, which we're going to use to test things. But these are going to be that big. They don't have to be accurate. Sometimes I use circles. Sometimes I get filter paper off eBay. But since I told everybody about getting filter paper off eBay, price has gone up.
Great.
Now everybody wants it.
You see, I thought you were going to use filter paper for this, but I was not expecting watercolour paper. Well, but it makes perfect sense.
What I want to do is not tell everybody all the expensive ways they can start. I want to say to people, here are some of the inexpensive ways you can start making perfume.
Yeah.
And one of them is this, because it's handy to have strips to dip in things that are quite narrow so they don't lift too much out of your blend. It's also handy to have bigger pieces that you can drop stuff on. I've also got a paper guillotine downstairs, which is faster, but you know, there's something quite satisfying about just cutting strips of paper. Taking care. Don't give this to children, Bob.
No.
Well, you can, you know, but just sensible children. I'll be there soon. And this should be enough for today's little demo.
So what are we making today?
We are making some dilutions, and I will explain why, and then we'll probably blend a couple of them. Ooh, okay, that's the last I can go before actually risking. So those are sharp. Yeah, we might blend a simple fragrance. But I just want to go through some of the methods, so, and the equipment that people need in order to get going. So I have here an O-House scale. I'm very fond of O-House, and I mention them a lot. They do not pay me. I spend a lot of money with them. This is not scale-fluencing. It's that, first of all, I've had some for 10 years and they've not broken, and I use them daily. All the scales downstairs are O-House. Second, one arrived once and it didn't work. We had a good long conversation with the guy from their technical department. We went through everything we possibly could to make it work. It still didn't work, so they sent me a new one. Now, that is kind of customer service I want, and that's why it might cost more to buy O-House scales, but of the 10 or so I've had, one broke and they send me a new one. So we also have, I'm like waving my head around here because there's another scale which was, it's just over there. Off I go again. There are other scales.
Oh, the mini one.
Yeah. Le petit. So these are called, quite often, diamond scales or jewellery scales, which is very funny because nobody measures diamonds on something that costs 20 quid you get off eBay. But they're portable. You can carry them around if you want to. I prefer rechargeable because I don't like to use up lots of batteries.
Yeah.
And for, you know, 10, 20 pounds, you can get one of those from eBay, and that's fine. They do what they need to do.
Question.
Yes.
For people doing this at home, could they use just normal kitchen scales, or do you need something more scientific?
You need some precision. You don't need it to go up to 3 decimal places. You would if you really were measuring diamonds, but 2 decimal places. Most kitchen scales go to the gram. We have one that's 0.1 grams for doing big amounts. We have 0.01 grams, decigrams on this one and that one.
Yeah.
Some people think they want scales that go to 0.001 grams, micrograms, but actually with perfume that's pointless because, I mean, you blow on them, you can make them, you put the, you know, the air conditioning unit on, it's less accurate than that. People confuse precision with accuracy. They think if there's things measures 0.0247 grams, that's really accurate. But when they turn the head and come back, it will have gone down to 0.0, whatever I said, 422 grams, because some of it's evaporated. So if you're working with volatile liquids, and a drop measures 0.03, so there's no point trying to get it more accurate than you can make a drop. So if you've studied physics, you'll know that accuracy and precision are not the same thing. They can be, but in this case, fooling people into thinking that they're being very precise by measuring tiny amounts, it doesn't work, because you'll measure a tiny amount trying to save money with a very expensive scale, and then when you come to multiply it by 100 to make a batch of your perfume, it won't smell the same as that amount you made because so much of it evaporated while you were just mixing it.
Yeah.
So actually, if you want to save money, make a bigger batch. Save money on not spending £1,000 on the scale. Spend £200 on the scale, and then spend the rest of the other 800 on bigger bottles of stuff.
Yeah.
It's what my grandmother would have called a false economy. You think you're saving money by making tiny amounts, but it never ever works. And a couple of my students have found this out to their cost. They've made something, that much of something that they really liked, and I thought, right, I'll scale it up. Didn't work. So what are we going to do with the scales? Should we do a thing with the scales? I've got some little beakers here, which is quite cute. Little nesting beakers like matryoshka dolls. And you don't have to have beakers. You can mix things in your bottles. The bottles are cheaper. But
the beakers are so cute.
They are cute. This one is plugged in. Okay, so scale. I've turned it on. I have to wait for it to tell me its name and all that. Pressing tear. Let's tell me about it. There's a button that either just says T on this one. Oh, it says tear. T-A-R-E. If I put the scale on, the beaker on the scale, it's 20.31 grams. If I press tear, it resets it to 0. So I can add in the material and I know how much there is. I had to explain. Ooh, that one's got dust in it. I'll use this one. Thank you. So, okay, fine. Tear that one to get it back down to 0. Actually, it was Nicholas. Nicholas, our apprentice. He didn't realise about the tear button. He was deducting. He put it in, then he'd take away what he had already and was subtracting all the figures. I just went, and he's going
blow his mind. Yeah.
Yes, he has a very when I tell him, well, you could try that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it is lovely. So I thought I would do something a bit difficult. This is a sample of Broom Absolute Genet, which, okay, so it's not a good idea ever to smell 100%. It's also not a good idea to handle 100% strength materials without your nitrile gloves. I'm going to take the beautiful rings off because they will rip the nitrile gloves. Practical things that never get written in the books. Ooh.
They have to be pink?
No, they also come in other colours, but why would you want other colours when you can get pink?
Exactly, they're matching your outfit.
And what you can do, there are recycling people who will recycle nitrile gloves.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so you can put them in. They're called TerraCycle. You can get a box, you put them all in, and the rate Nicholas gets through them, frankly, that's what we need. But I thought I would dilute this because this is a little bit awkward, and I want to use broom. Now you can waft the cap. Just there's a little bit sort of left on the cap, so you can. Oh, yeah. Okay, so things at 100% strength are quite unusual. Can be quite unusual. So
it smells like prunes.
Prunes, yeah. It is quite fruity. It is from the yellow flowers from the broom plant, shrub, I guess. Now, so if I want to make, say, I want to fill a 30ml bottle. 4 reasons I will go into. Ethanol weighs a lot less than sort of 1:1. It's not 1 gram to 1 milliliter. It has a lower relative density, it's called, or specific gravity. 1 gram of water at 4 degrees centigrade at normal Earth surface, 1 gram of water measures 1 milliliter.
Okay.
Other things are measured relative to that 1:1. Ethanol, the alcohol we use, measures about 0.77 grams for every 1 milliliter.
I see.
So if you try and fit 10 grams into a 10ml bottle, it won't go, because 10 mils will weigh about 8 grams. So if I want to put in the 30ml bottle, if I want it to fit and it's going to be dissolved in ethanol, I'm going to have to put about 24 grams in there. I want my broom, because it's an absolute, and I tend to have my absolutes diluted to 5% because that's about right. That's what I have worked out in 15 years, whatever. Some things need to be stronger, some things need to be very diluted, but absolutes about 5% strength. So I need 24 grams to fit in this, so I need 1.2 grams of this. Now this is going to be a bit tricky because, so I'm using a chopstick because I find those very useful. Let's see what we got. Okay.
Where do you get these absolutes?
Oh, well, they are a good question. They're available from perfume suppliers. I would probably have to buy 1.27. That's a little bit too much. I would have to, I'm probably going to get this from, this is a Payon Bertrand, French company. They supply through Stort in the UK. So Stort sent me this little sample because I'm testing 2 different ones before I buy the 100 grams.
Cool.
And then my students will be able to buy it from me. But there are some people who sell it online. But this is quite an obscure material, to be honest. This is probably not the easiest one to get hold of. But I wanted to demonstrate diluting it because awkward. Right, 1.16. Now I'm going to scrape all that off because that will probably come. That's going to be really, so that's going to be, we're back to 1.26. Okay, fine. So that is then 25.2 grams in total I need in there. So that's just me doing the maths because 1.26 times 20 is what we want for total. So I need to add, we can do a separate film on that. If that doesn't do it for you, just multiply 1.26 by 20, and that's, you need to top it up so you get 1 part this, 19 parts that. That makes 5%. 5% is 1 in 20. 5 per 100, 1 per 20. So, yeah, 20.52. So I will just 1.26. No. 1.26. I'm confusing myself again. 1.26 times 20 is, because 1.2 would be make it to 24, and then I've got the 0.6, which is, this is where I should get the calculator out. Yeah.
Yeah, you're on your own here. I cannot help you with those.
No, I did it. I said it
mathematics
before,
in
and
your
then
head.
I completely forgot.
Oh,
It's 1.26 times 20. It's like it's yes. Divide by 5. It was 126 times 20. I'm going to get a calculator. I've really, my excuse is I have had a cold. I worked it out a second ago, and now I've forgotten it again. It's 25.2.
and you're in a room with the least mathematical person on earth, so I can't help you.
So that I was going to measure 24. That would have been 1.2. I've had to measure 25.2. It should be fine. It should still fit.
Mm-hmm. Guess we'll
into-
see.
Yeah, we will. I'm going to stir it. Now this could take some time.
Yeah.
Now some people heat them. I don't heat them
You don't? Why?
because too much would evaporate.
Mm.
Even stirring it will put extra energy in. And this is the physics, I mean, actual physics energy. I'm not talking about adding energy.
Spiritual energy.
Yeah, that as well. It's like I'm putting my witchy energy in here, but this eventually will evaporate. No, will dissolve.
So you'd
Which
rather
put it in the
spend
bottle.
longer stirring it than
Yeah,
cooking it with heat?
Because if I were to heat it up now, the ethanol would evaporate faster than the broom, and I would be left not with a 5% solution, but with a stronger solution, because some of the ethanol would have disappeared.
Yeah.
So I'm going to what I'm going to do is leave it there and dissolve something more simple. I say that I'm probably going to, no, I'm going to do the barley.
Was this the missing
The
barley?
famous missing barley that...
Do people know about this?
Possibly.
Are we going to break the story?
Well, it disappeared from the lab, and it's this big. And then, so we spent a week looking for it. And then I came in, and John was asking could he find some things. And I said in passing, so I'm going to press tear, set this to 0. I said, have you, I don't suppose he stumbled across the barley, and he said, oh, I saw something with barley written on it. And then he looked underneath the desk, which is where the blue canisters are, that I do not remember putting it there. I'm not sure if somebody just thought, oh, that's in the way, I'll put it where the blue canisters are. And there was, but because we'd spent 3 days with him in the studio, always say, where can I put the barley? It's brand new. I was quite surprised that when he saw something with barley on it, he didn't tell me. But he was busy concentrating on something else, so never mind.
Oh, I get to smell it now.
Yeah, but I would not smell it straight out of the thing, but I don't mind smelling a cat. It smells like roast barley.
Yeah.
It's called roasted barley because it's French, and I don't think whoever translated it into English knows that the past tense of roast is roast. Because it's roast barley, like roast potatoes. We don't say roasted potatoes, but so it's now called roasted barley because it's franglais. But yeah, so it re-emerged, and I was very glad about that because I've just bought it. So this is the kind of quantity. I mean, it's actually only a kilo in there, but because it's dissolved in ethanol, it won't fit into a 1 litre bottle. Because we know that now.
Yes.
So this is already at 40% in ethanol. but I'm going to take it down to, so I take it down to 10%, 40% at 10%. I'm going to, because there's a reason why it's at 40%. It's probably about right. So I want to put that in a 100ml bottle, which happens to have a label on that I'm testing for another thing, but I'll put it on. So that's going to be 80 grams. So I'm going to put 8 grams of that in there. Now that's the one I used.
I understood that maths.
Oh,
I'm
good.
Getting it.
Good.
I'm getting it.
That's the one I used for the ethanol, so I can keep that with the ethanol.
Yes.
I'm going to use this.
Question.
Yes.
Is it more expensive to buy stuff already dissolved in ethanol?
Colour.
Or is it cheaper to buy the pure and then dissolve it yourself?
Well, it's very unusual to buy something that's dissolved at 40% in ethanol.
Mm-hmm.
I've never bought anything else that is. I think that it must be completely unusable at 100%. I mean, it must be solid as a rock.
Yeah.
So for that reason,
it has
the
to
supplier has put it into 40%, which is probably the lowest amount of ethanol they can use in order to make it usable. Myrrh comes dissolved already, usually in DPG, and that's because it is just, it's like glue. Solid myrrh is just, it's like a rock. So
what's DPG?
Dipropylene glycol, that's a solvent.
Cool.
But it's a solvent which isn't flammable, and so lots of companies will dissolve something in DPG because it can be shipped not as dangerous goods.
Yeah.
So some people think that DPG has magical properties and it's added specially to perfume to make them last longer or something. That is all technical term bollocks. It's just a solvent.
Yeah.
That's why people dissolve things in it. Now this I am going to... Would you grab me a piece of that blue tissue? Because...
Of course.
Sorry, I left with all the things I thought I needed. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, also, it is very handy to have a big roll of blue tissue. Thank you. Yeah, around a lab. So I'm just going to wipe that off the outside. Yeah, and I'm going to put it in the top of there because so I used the plastic one. I'm going to reuse it. Okay, quickly. It's because it's in ethanol. It's sort of, it's sterile. So, and these ones are bendy. The glass ones obviously aren't. So I like keeping things that we are learning. So that's 8 grams. I'm going to make it up to 80. I would normally squirt with the ethanol, but these squirty bottles, I've had them for years and they've cracked, and so they let air in, they no longer squirt, so I'm going to use my ethanol pipette. You never ever put a pipette into the same thing, and then I've seen people use the same pipette, dip it in an essential oil, put drops on something, and then sort of rinse it out in a beaker of ethanol. The trouble is that's like washing out your paintbrush in water, in the pot of water, but you have to keep rinsing it out. The water just ends up brown and filthy and it ruins your painting. Same thing, it will contaminate. You just cannot keep using the same pipette. You can't.
So if beginners want to get into it, they need quite a few pipettes.
Yeah, so these glass ones, when we're finished using those, they last for a long time. We wash them in the dishwasher. Yeah. We stick them on the single, the pointy bits, and we just keep using them. So I need to make this up to 80. I can probably put that, yeah. But so these big glass ones I really like.
Yeah, you just take the bulb off the top.
Yeah, take the bulb off for washing. And there isn't 80 grams in here. I know that, well, 72. I'm just going to pour the rest of it because, I mean, you can pour. It's just you need to make sure that you don't ruin something by going over the top. But it's all right. I've got more ethanol over there. We have got Marvellous. 68.95, thank you very much. I'm going to have to buy some new, but I like these because they say ethanol on them. So, I mean, they're
Straight
really
to the
sort of,
point.
yeah, you can't make the mistake of using the wrong thing. So we're getting close because this is a 100 ml beaker, so it ought to sort of come to the top.
Mm.
Now I could have measured this straight into the bottle, but I kind of just wanted to show how far it goes. So we're going up to 78.254, 79.86, exciting, 92.94. 80 grams exactly. I wish you could see, but it is, just is. That's that. Oh, they're both the same. Yeah, you can't contaminate an ethanol bottle with an ethanol bottle. Right, so that I want to put in this. So this is already mixed, you know, it's just it looks lovely through the light. It's like, so right, do you know rule number 1 and rule number 2? You know what's just happened between me lifting that up and putting it down? I have lost 0.02 grams of it. That's how quickly things evaporate, and that's why we must do larger amounts to be accurate.
There we are.
Not tiny amounts to be accurate. I like it when I like. And these beakers are great because they just don't half pour beautifully. So I was going to say a thing and I forgot what the thing was I was saying. Yeah, you can always use a funnel if you don't have steady hands. Years of practice.
And so this is diluted now. This is the diluted
This is
solution.
the barley, which was, it arrived at 40% in ethanol. It's diluted down a further to 10%. So technically it's 4% in ethanol.
And so this would be something that you would keep on your shelves to then use in creating a perfume.
Yes. So what I'm going to do is, oh, I know, yes, rule number 1 and rule number 2.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Do you know that?
Oh, uh-oh. If you tell me, then I'll go like, oh, yes, I know.
I know, okay. So,
that's my way out.
Okay, rule number...
label everything.
Write everything down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to put...
Oh, I know rule number 2.
Barley. Yeah. Roasted. At 40%, in brackets, at 10%. So, while it is technically at 4%. So, I'm also going to put the name of the company it came from, which is Biolong. And I'm going to put the date that I did this, which is the 30th.
30th.
Yeah, Thursday, yeah.
Because it's Halloween tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. 25. Yeah, so rule number 2 then.
Always put the lid back on.
You got it. And I'd already done that. So do you know what rule number 3 is?
Ooh. Always wear a smile. I don't know. What's wrong?
Get to know your materials.
Ah, I see.
That one takes a lot longer. And we'll start. So
get to know your materials. What do you mean?
I mean, not only what do they smell like, but how do they make you feel? What do you think, if they had a texture, what would it be? If it evokes a colour to you, what is that? How does it work with all the other materials that you have? It takes a long time to get to know material. And people at the beginning tend to concentrate just on the smell. Like, oh, I know what that smells like. But so we can leave it to dry a little bit, encourage it. We tend to bend the strip because then if you put it down on something, it doesn't leave anything on the surface. It doesn't pick anything up from the surface. And also, I'm going to write it down. I just put barley because if you smell more than about 4 things in a row, you can very easily forget what you did. It is just like opening a packet of cereal.
Yeah.
For me. So, but I'll also have to leave it, come back to it, see how long it lasts on this strip. Might try it on my skin. I happen to know it's safe, so yes. Oh, I'm so glad. I was so glad we found it. Because I worried that I'd actually left it out and subjected people to temptation irresistibly, so that somebody just thought, that looks interesting, I need it. And then I didn't want to think that I'd led someone to crime, you know? And
down the path.
Yeah. But I'm so glad that it was still there.
Is it weird that it still smells pruny to me?
Pruny? Yes, because that was a different material.
That was broom.
It was the broom that smelled pruny to you.
Now, why am I still smelling prunes then?
Because brains are like that.
Yeah.
Your brain thought to yourself, oh, that looks about the same colour as the one before.
What's a good way to like reset your brain if you're kind of going like, ooh, too many things?
Out the front door and back in again.
Yeah.
Coffee does not work. It just makes you smell of coffee. Because if you leave a room and come back into, or just go into a different space, the brain does a kind of wipe.
Yeah.
And it goes, okay, we're somewhere new. What is there here that we can eat, or that could eat us, or we should take out to dinner? We should make friends with. Is there a person here that smells angry? Because we can actually smell anger. And I think some people are actually drawn to other angry people and like hanging out, but I think most of us think, ooh, don't want this one to go away.
You can smell anger.
Oh, yeah. Well, not so much smell as we can detect the human chemical signal for anger. Really? And also happiness.
Yeah.
And we can smell each other's anxiety. And we can smell, and fear, which is not the same thing as fear.
Yeah, anxiety and fear too.
Yeah. So... But it might be that fear, because quite often people release adrenaline when they're both fearful but excited. So,
well, that's a classic thing, is if you're fearful about something, it's the same reaction as being excited, so you can change your mindset on it.
Yeah.
So it's the same with smelling it. That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
We can't detect the actual smell, but it turns out that humans can detect emotions in a room, and we know that. We know, we can feel that stuff. You can suddenly feel when, like, somebody said a thing, and it's not just what they've said, it's everybody, the atmosphere changes. But that's here, you can smell now that's pretty much dissolved. So this one is the broom, so I'm going to bend the strip.
Yes.
I'm going to put... Now, I could work at 100% strength, but you know when you smelt it before, and it was at 100% strength, and you went, ooh, this is too much.
Yeah,
it's just naturals. Once they're extracted, they're a lot stronger than when you smell them in nature. So a lot of the time they need just to be given a little bit more space, and the ethanol gives them space so that we can smell them the way that we would smell them if we were walking past a broom plant or a toaster or a bowl of cereal. So it's quite... I went to Wales and I got the broom out, and that sounds like I was just walking down the high street party sweeping the leaves, doesn't it? But no, I was doing an event on a pirate ship, and everyone smelled this. And I didn't take the broom. I took the coconut, the gamma nonolactone I took, and they all went, oh, it's gorse, which is a little yellow, spiny plant, and it smells quite coconutty. And the broom actually smells quite a lot like gorse. It
is, because my parents went to Scotland recently, and they got like a squash extract that you put in water and drink.
Oh yeah.
It's delicious, but it is quite,
So I'm putting the two together just to see what happens. Because this is... Next step of perfumery is, I can see it, you can kind of waft things and see what they're like together.
Okay, because I was going to say, do you have to attempt to mix everything every time, or can you waft it and it kind of does the same thing?
You can waft. And I brought these things. I saw them on a table in Sweden, and they were holding up the menu or something, or the table number at a coffee shop, and I thought that'll do. So I bought like 20 of these for workshops. So you can put them together so they don't touch, they don't interfere with each other's smell, but you can put them together and see how that works. And they are quite similar. Weirdly, I think the room's winning.
Yeah.
So now I would probably eventually get round to see a lot of it has mostly dissolved. But I will put it. I mean, I would filter it if I were going to use it. I would filter it. So yeah, sometimes I work at 100% strength, but really, it goes a lot further. You can make more mistakes, more interesting mistakes with your dilutions. You can blend more batches. You can blend, 10 or 20 more if you've got them at 5% or 10%. You can make bigger amounts, and then when you've got the balance that you like, then you can make it up at 100% strength, test it at different dilutions and see what you like best. Yeah. So this I'm going to pour into the bottle. So I like saying bottle with a French accent. I just can't get it out of my head. Rather than bottle, because it just sounds like a bottle. Yeah. Bottle.
So technically, someone could buy a bunch of things that they like, raw materials they like the smell of, dilute them in ethanol, and then dip some watercolor paper they've cut up, and try different of their favorite scents together and see what happens.
Yeah, they could. They could start even without buying materials. If you wanted to test what do your favorite perfumes smell like by themselves, I mean, like mixed together. If you wanted to, just do a little bit of experimental layering. Okay, so fine. I'm gonna have to dissolve that. Okay, so because there's some left, it's not technically 5%, but it's going to be as close to 5% as I'm ever going to get. So yeah, but if I were to take some perfumes, what have I got here? I've got this is my Red Harvest perfume from our Modern Lives range. So I could spray that.
We have the waft from the loft.
Or I can't waste the spray of that.
No.
Sorry, that's the last waft from the loft that exists. I'll take the Our Modern Lives blue. This is going to be way too much to spray together, but yeah. But I say that.
It's quite nice.
Yeah. These are some 100% naturals that I made. This is quite.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's doing my head in a nice way. So what have I not done?
Written it down.
I know. What did I do with the labels? Somebody's going to look back at this film and go, she put them. Oh, I found them. At least I found some. That'll do. So, right, that is Broom, also known as Genet, Absolute at 5%, and that is from Perfume, isn't it? This is the extra, so I'm going to put extra PB because I know what Perfume is. This is all, and the other thing is that what I didn't write down is what my impressions of it yet. I will come back. The more I smell, the more easy it is for me to remember what things smell like.
Yeah.
Like if you learn a language, your first 10 words are so difficult to remember. And then once you've learnt your first 1,000, the next 300 you're just like, oh yeah, I hear that, I remember it. It's a bit like that with materials. You to get your head around your first 20s. Oh, I don't remember what that is. What's that? Come back to it. But the more you learn, it's like, oh yeah, I remember that smelled like that. So this is one of my formula books. So I like to write things down. quite neatly. Yeah, that was my lavender rice. That's my lavender rice formula I just used.
Is that open to the public?
It's actually in the Enthusiasm Patreon.
So. Yeah.
Good. It's nice to have a helicopter in the film.
It's needed.
Yeah.
Where can someone buy a formula book? Just online?
Yeah, I mean we sell these. I mean I got them specially done with the from Papelerias Emilio Braga in Portugal to my specification with my logo on. There are 100 of these in the world, and they've got blue and red stripes, but they're actually just accounting books.
Oh, okay.
They're good old fashioned. So, but I like them because there's space to write the name in, and then there's space to write different versions. So you can put variations in, and the columns for. I like stationery with columns. That's another one that I was making. But also I like these books to put notes in about my materials and what I think of them. I've got a kind of grid for describing the textures and the colours and the feelings that they do. But I'll tell you what I want to go on to. So we've got as far as 2 materials. I mean, we're surrounded with many. We've got Indian sandalwood, carob, absolute. There are lots of things here that I have diluted in the past. That's our new Enthusiasm label coming out.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, but I moved it, but I found it. Now what? How do we balance one of these? Now I could take these materials and I could start putting them in a little bottle. I have many of these little bottles. You will have many of these little bottles. You start to make perfume. But first, it's like this is before you put all your oil painting on your big canvas. You get your pencil out, you do a little sketch, you make sure you get the proportions right. So, while there are some people critical of using drops of stuff, I mean, you can measure the weight of the drops if you want. But how do I balance? How do I get equal amounts of broom and barley, say? I want to balance my broom and barley. So that's 1.2 grams of paper. So, you don't have to measure that by weight, but I'm literally putting on 1 drop of broom. And I think the broom was winning on the strip against the barley, so I'm going to put that's 0.01 grams. 2 drops of barley. Waft it around a bit and see, does that make a balance for me? Have I made a broomy or a balm?
I like balm.
Yeah.
Why is it important to balance the scents?
If one material completely overwhelms another material, then why put the second one in? You might want one to win. I was balancing galbanum with rose and neroli yesterday to make a heart of a fragrance, the sun, the central sun of a fragrance, and they turned out, I used them in equal amounts in the end. They are, it's like equally intense, equally strong, and in order to get the balance, I put equal amounts in. But some materials will overwhelm. Some you sort of can't balance at all. I mean, if, for example, I took, what have I got? If I took the ISO E-Super, what have I got handy? Okay, Fixolide. This is a musk, but it's restricted for environmental reasons, so it might disappear off the planet soon. But if I were to do, I'll let you smell the Fixolide, then you can see, smell, hear. Olfactory. Oh, I was on a bus not long ago, coming back from a workshop I gave for some sort of a U3A, University of 3H thing, and the whole crowd of children got on with the school teacher, and they were measuring how strong something smells in olfs, as in olfactory.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. I think cool. that class had made up the word, the olf, and it's on the scale of how loud something is. I mean, how how strong.
Like, yeah.
How intense an aroma is. And I mean, they were just like, "Oh, you're a bit awfully today."
Incredible.
To each other. I know. So, do you smell this at all?
Yeah, it's not strong though.
No, it's faint. But this is at 15% strength. So this is 3 times the dilution of the broom. So this is for a different reason. Fixolide is a musk. It is soft and it smooths things out. So we use something like this for texture.
So if you...
Yeah. So if I put it into the
yeah,
it smooths everything. So you can't really balance. There's some materials you can't balance with others because what they're for, is texture and longevity. And if you have a perfume that is smelling a little bit sort of punchy and spiky, I've got juniper berry here. Let's give you a strip of that. So smell the juniper berry by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Then smell it with the fixolide. So fixolide probably smells a little bit like clean laundry because musks are in laundry powders.
I see.
So we tend to have this association. Now I think juniper berry essential oil is a little bit pokey in the nose. No, a little bit sharp. Well, pointy. Right. So if I were going to try and smooth it out a bit, I might put it with the fixolide. I don't really need to have my gloves on there, but anyway.
It does smooth it out.
Yeah. But if I tried to balance juniper with fixolide, that wouldn't work.
No.
That's not what it's for.
It's
because they're too different. It's like they work in different dimensions.
So it's not only important to have like the smells that you need, but also the texture smells that you need.
Yeah. And getting to know your materials is not just about what they smell of, but what they do and what they do with all the other materials that you're using.
Yeah.
I'm glad you think that. Okay, I've got another one here which I just got recently. So some of these things are materials that I want to use in the triad of perfumes that I'm putting together, which will probably be out next spring, which I'm probably going to crowdfund.
It's very exciting.
I think so. I haven't crowdfunded something for ages and I enjoy it. I wish you could see Ruby's face right now.
I have genuinely no idea how to work out this smell. What smell is it?
This is Paris mushroom. Now you
know
it's exactly.
Mushroom.
Thank you for your perfect reaction to exactly what happens when you say to somebody, it's that. If you saw a mushroom, if you gently fried some little white mushrooms, champignon blanc, and they were served to you, you would know that you were going to get this smell. But out of context, it is really weird.
It's really,
yeah.
It's making me hungry.
See, there is one theory is that you can get the satisfaction of smelling it and it convinces your brain that you aren't hungry anymore. You just overload your nose with the smell of it until you sort of can't smell it anymore, and then you'll convince yourself you're not hungry. I'm not sure anybody would need to do that. It's probably better for them to eat if they're hungry, but you know, if you've already just had lunch and then you smell something, you think, oh, I want one, you know. So that is
delicious.
Splendid. So what is it like with barley? That's what I want to know.
Oh, interesting. That's broom. See, I haven't written anything on mine.
So this is mushrooms on toast now, isn't it? Roast barley and mushrooms.
That's so fun. Yeah. Weird.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So then I can see clean. Okay. What did I do with the other one? I don't think
What do you need?
I can't. Oh no, it's over there. It's fine. I just wanted to check that I hadn't picked
This is
up.
the one with the
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to check that I hadn't used it. Sometimes I can confuse myself into thinking that I. There is another thing, and I use these now. These are a little bit more expensive, but these are my ceramics that have our logo on. Might not be able to. Oh yeah, there they are. Oh, yeah. So I had to buy a whole load of these because the minimum order quantity was high, but I bought them for a project. So basically they're paid for. So now they're here, so we can use them. These are ceramics made in Limoges called Les Parfumables, which hold perfume. And I quite like making a whole perfume on that.
Yeah.
And then recreating it again in liquid. So, yeah.
Could people like buy a ceramic plate from a charity shop and it would work the same way?
It has to be unglazed.
Unglazed. Oh.
Yeah, and plates are glazed, otherwise they would just dissolve in the dishwasher or the sink. Although dishwashers, if you set them on the right thing, they are actually more environmentally sound than hand washing.
Oh.
That's what I was so happy when I learned that. So we're coming close to, we've got 51 minutes and 30 seconds worth of film here.
Lovely.
How would I actually put our perfume together? Maybe I ought to do that. I have some Enthusiasm branded bottles here as well. You don't have to start with expensive things. I mean, these things are that you can get them for about 20 pence each with a
20.
A cap will cost a little bit more, so they end up maybe being 40 with the cap. But
where do you get them?
Ampulla or Colour Lights in the UK. I get them from there. You can get them. Just don't buy off Amazon. But you can buy small quantities, and it's not a cheap hobby. But what is? I mean,
True.
I would have loved to have gone horse riding when I was a kid. Parents didn't have the money, so I learnt to play the piano because we had a piano. Because pianos were less expensive than horses, and you didn't have to feed them. And I get asked a lot, "Well, please, will I teach people? They haven't got any money. Will I give them all the stuff?" And the answer is, I'm sorry, I can't. But please take up something that you will be equally enjoyable and creative, and do that instead.
Yeah.
I am fortunate to have been able to do this, and
But also, you don't necessarily have to buy everything at once.
That is such a good point.
You can use your paycheck and 1 month buy a couple of things, and then the next month do that and build it up slowly.
And the other thing is that to get to know a material, it takes a long time.
Yeah.
I started with 20 materials, and I'd made my first perfume from the 20 materials. You don't need the massive organ, I just like to joke about that. But you don't need. I've accumulated these over 15 years and through selling perfumes. So you don't need everything all at once.
Yeah.
I mean, fine, I've gone in and encouraged people. I've got the roasted barley and the Paris mushroom, but that's because I've got a project, and this is what I actually do for a living. It's also a lovely thing to do for a hobby.
Yeah.
A perfume then in the last 6 minutes. I'm going to make a mushroom broom barley fragrance, and I'm going to decide using my experience. I could really do.
What do you need?
A pipette. Over there in the bag on the end of the table. Thank you. I should have thought of that. So writing everything down. Thank you.
Did you need the bigger pipettes?
No, although this is quite funny. These are
these are pick up
the world's smallest pipettes.
Whoops.
Yeah. It's when you see things on eBay, they all look the same size.
Yeah, exactly.
They're so
yeah.
cute.
Yeah, I made them equal size. I thought both of these were the same size, so yeah. Okay, we'll use a tiny little bit of Paris mushroom. Always. So squeeze, put in, let go.
Yes.
we don't want to oxygenate it.
I heard Ruby this morning get blowing bubbles through one of the things, and I round the corner. I'm like, "Who's blowing bubbles through the perfume?" Yeah, I'm quite strict about that. Okay, so I'm going to put in 1 gram, which is I can never resist smelling the pipette after I've done that. We just do. So I have to write it down because that is the law. Otherwise, how will I? You don't remember. People think they'll remember, they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 gram Paris mushroom. Maybe not my best writing. I need to put that in as well. I'm going to actually put at 10%, at 40%, because that makes sense to me. I'm not going to write down 4% because I know where that's come from. The roasted barley, I'm going to try. I mean, I don't normally put this straight into a bottle, but particularly when I'm not that familiar with the materials, but I'll see how this smells tomorrow. I'm going to put in, I'm going to take a risk. I think the barley is not quite as intense, so I'm going to put in 1.5 grams. Now, these pipettes, always empty it completely before you put it back in the bottle, because if you have some in, the capillary action will suck the fluid up the top and some of it will evaporate. If it is empty, it just can't get in. I learned that at school. I don't know why everybody isn't taught it, but they seem not to be. And because I've been recently, it's been pointed out to me recently, barley roasted, that I remember ridiculous amounts of things from very, very early in my life. A lot of people don't, but I have retained that. Thank you, Barry Grieveson. It still feels a bit naughty calling him Barry. Oh, it wasn't the Paris mushroom. It was Paris mushrooms at 10. It's the barley that's at 10, at 40. Yeah, even though I'm now nearly ready for my pension, it still seems quite rude calling my teachers by just their first name.
Yeah, it's just wrong.
I'm going to put in a tiny amount of broom. I'm not even sure I want it there, but I'm doing it now because I feel like it. Broom Absolute at 5%. So I feel, because it's just that strong, I'm just going to put in 0.2 grams. So that'll be about 10 drops probably. Actually, 9. It comes out exactly 0.2. I don't want to put in juniper berry. That was completely off in a different direction.
Yeah.
Now, I cannot put in much fixer. I do what I'm going to do now. I'm going to do the tiniest dip to test how it's going. Now, this is why we don't measure in 0.0000, because that is actually a couple of micrograms.
Yeah.
This is taken away 0.01 grams, but I just want to know what it's like. At the moment, the broom and barley, the broom's winning, even though I've put 0.2 grams in. The barley's next, and the mushroom is...
I can't
but
quite find
it's supposed to be a base note, so what I want to do is try it later and see how that comes out. And what I will do is, not going far, there it is. Thank you, there goes my sleeve. But that is the ISO E Super at 20%. So while this is a little bit, I'm not cheating. I say, feeling guilty. ISO E Super is that magical ingredient which it actually works on the brain to switch on. It's a fragrance enhancer. It's kind of enlivens bits of our perception so that everything smells better.
Oh,
It's
that is
odd.
magical.
It's odd, yeah. You can smell it by itself. Some people say you can't, but you actually can.
That's lovely.
Yeah, it's lovely by itself, and sometimes it is sold by itself as a perfume.
It smells quite like the snow
The snow
fragrances
accord
that you make, yeah.
Ah, the snow is actually made with cashmere and velvet and centifol ether. But yes, it's got a
It's
coolness.
got the sharpness and the coolness.
Yeah. The sharpness might just be the ethanol, but it's got a presence. It's a cloud material. I mean, the ones that I would describe, you can add a lot without it damaging a perfume in any way. This is very funny. Now, since that's what I've got, I'm going to put it in tiny amounts. But
do you want me to try and find bigger pipettes?
No, I think this is very amusing.
So would you say, as a beginner perfumer, you should get ISOE Super?
Yes. That's quite
something
simple.
Good to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put in 2 grams. Now, I forgot to press tear, but I remembered I'd forgotten to press tear as I saw it. So I had 0.2 grams
You did, yeah.
of the last one in. So I'm going to put, so this will add up to 2.2, and then I'll know I've actually put 2 grams in. Yeah. Okay. I mean, the thing about these tiny pipettes is they will actually do a drop that weighs 0.01 grams. So that's kind of handy. Whereas the bigger pipettes, because they've got, a bigger nozzle,
Yeah.
they'll only go down to 0.03. So we sort of have a fragrance, which is broom, barley and mushroom. Which, I'm just making it with things which happen to be handy. I'm not putting the Fixolide in only because I know that would make it more difficult to use because of regulations.
I see.
Because Fixolide is quite restricted. I like it because it gives a very sort of vintagey musk smell to fragrances, but okay,
and
this is it.
You swirled it, you didn't shake it.
I did not shake because shaking would then mean that we get a lot more oxygen in it.
I see.
And heat, light and oxygen are the things which make perfumes go off. I mean, I would normally fill this up a little bit higher. I've just got that much in. So we should give it a name and then we should see how it goes. Right, so I write down 2 grams of ISOE Super at 20%. So I think, well, I'm going to name it. I'm going to name it Another Brother. And I'll tell you why.
I know why.
You know why, tell me.
Because of their mushrooms on toast?
Yeah. Because we love going around the corner to Another Brother and eating mushrooms on toast. So that is its code name at the moment. Because it reminds me of the cafe in Ravenscourt Park.
That's spooky because when I smelt the barley and the mushroom together earlier, I thought about the mushroom toast I had at Another Brother.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah, might not wear it. I know. So I'm going to now label that. So I will write Another Brother. And I will write on it Blue Book and the date because I need to be able to find it. Because it's all very well making a perfume, labeling the bottle and then not being able to find the actual formula. These are all things that I have done in the past wrongly, so that I can tell people to do that. Okay, so it's probably not a finished fragrance. The funny thing is, there's probably somebody in the world who would really like to wear that. Thank you, Nick, for trolling the video. Yeah, it's not too bad. We haven't had any crows and we haven't had a police siren yet. We normally do. So I will come back to that tomorrow and see. I also just want to demonstrate the way that with nitrile gloves as well. I don't tend to throw them away straight away because there's nothing on this that is harmful. It's fine if you work in a hospital and this is different. I just love when somebody taught me how to reuse rubber gloves, how to get the fingers back out again. My life changed.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. But then you can get them back on. If I'll just put some dusting powder on. I reuse that. But yeah. So sometimes I send out perfumes in these bottles, and people say, "But how are you supposed to put it on? There isn't a spray." It's like how everybody used to put perfume on before there were sprays.
The old-fashioned way.
Yes. Oh Lord, I'm going out to Valurio House of Burlesque now, smelling of a mushroom on toast.
Hey, it's something.
It is. Why not?
Why not?
It's actually not bad at all. Okay, so I think is that everything about how to make perfume? Probably not, but it's quite a lot. What if I missed out? Please ask questions and we'll do another ridiculously long film.
I think so.
Going through the details. Yeah.
Hurrah.
Thank you. Right, I'm going to. Oh, I should put gloves back on. Right.
For the
point.
Yeah.
The big pink finger at the machine. Okay. Goodbye.